guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Cupboard Talk. So I'm trying to keep everything in a really light mood at the moment. I'll tell you why in a second. I'm just busy making the girls some cheesy eggy wraps. What was I doing? Salt. I needed the salt. How is everybody? How is everybody doing? I'm well aware you cannot respond to me because this is a recorded video. Right, let me just go and flip this eggy wrap. Hold on just a sec. Bella's going to entertain you for a momento. Say hello. Oh, that was hot.
I came in from hello to hello. It was hot.
Bella, can you just keep an eye on that for me so it doesn't burn? So, how is everybody? I think I said that already. I wanted to do a quick video to update everybody on
What's happening?
Harper. So would you like a little bit more? Tell you what, I'm going to do you some eggy without a wrap. How does that sound? We'll do you. I think that's definitely done, Isabella. You did a fantastic job.
Can you make mine into 3?
You would like yours into 3. We'll cut it into 3 like a pizza. Hold on. I'm going to go and cut an eggy wrap into a 3-piece pizza. Oh, we got sauce with yours, have we?
Papa kind of yonked my tissue and red fly.
Oh no, we've put a cheesy sauce on the floor.
Is it cheesy?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's a cheese sauce.
Right, let's get that cleaned up so nobody slips on it. It is absolute
cheesy floor.
chaos. Why have I got Febreze hanging on my notice board?
I don't know.
We don't know. Maybe I think we should move that. Right, let me get these egg wraps out and then I'm going to come back and talk to you because I feel like it's absolute chaos in here. Wraps are made. Just making Dylan one now. Okay, so let me tell you what's happening. So there was a bit of an accident with Mackenzie and she is currently in accident emergency with Kevin. The reason I'm not there is because Harper is having an enormous amount of seizures and there's a lot of stuff going on in the house and it's easy for me to take care of that than it is for Kevin because he gets really flustered because there's so much going on. So he's with Mackenzie and I'm here with the babies. All that thought. Da, 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 making eggy wraps.
Yay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep everything a little lighthearted in here because basically what happened was Mackenzie was being fed in her high chair. Kev gave her food and she was all strapped in. They were on the tightest straps. The tray was pushed up right to her tummy, so there was no way that she could get out. Or so we thought. Kev obviously thought she was really secure in there. I wasn't here. I was out on the driveway with Dylan with his car. And Kev thought she was really secure. She was playing, she was gurgling away, watching TV in a high chair. And Kev came into the kitchen to make a quick phone call. As he's got in the kitchen, there was an almighty bang, so I've been told. And Kevin ran into the living room actually expecting Harper to have had a seizure and that be what the bang was because we hear that a lot sadly, but it wasn't. Kenzie had actually wriggled her way out of her straps. How? We don't know, but she actually tipped herself over the top of the high chair and she's hit the wooden floor with her head. She is okay. I'm trying my best to keep things light in here because there's been a lot of tears and a lot of fears. So we're making eggy wraps, which I've got to turn. Hold on. Whoop! Popping! It's that poppity eggy egg. So, yeah, she is okay. We called an ambulance because at that point she was gasping and my brain went into panic. I always stay calm on the outside and I always keep my face on the outside, but on the inside I was kind of screaming, you know. Kev was in full panic. Hold on. Yeah, we need to get it out. Just getting my eggy wrap out. It's Dylan's actually. It's Dylan's eggy wrap. Oh, we don't need to make any more. We're all done now. So you want to tell Dylan he's got an eggy wrap. Should we get him a plate? You're actually sat in the cupboard, so we're going to reach over the top of your head and get your plates out. Should we put this on here? Oh, it's super hot. Do you want to take this up to Dylan actually? So just this once, you can have it in your bedroom. Oh, yeah, she was gasping and that was pure kind of fright and shock, like, whoa. But I checked her all over quickly and she's got a lump on the left side of her head, but she kept turning her head like that and she was holding her head like this and I thought, oh my God, she hurt her neck. and she was really quiet. So we called 999, spoke to the paramedics there, and they said we're going to have a clinician call you back. Had a clinician call back, and he was like, no, actually, you know, to be on the safe side, I'm going to send an ambulance. And I was like, yeah, please do that. You know, I want her checked. It's just one of those split-second accidents that happened. Kev feels absolutely dreadful, but Bella feels worse. Bella was sat next to her when it happened, and in Bella's mind, she kept saying to me, Mum, I should have been watching, I should have looked at her, I didn't notice, and she went into full panic, and she now thinks it's her fault, and it's not, because our children are not the responsibility of our children, and I've always said that, and I don't have my children. You did, didn't you? Yeah, I've never had my kids look after my kids. I just don't believe in that. My kids are my responsibility, so I don't like that. But because Bella was sat next to her and she hadn't noticed that she climbed up, she went into a full panic and said, Mum, it's my fault. I should have said something. I should have noticed this. It's not your fault. It's not. And she was really crying and she's really upset. So we've had a chat. We've had a cup of tea. Mackenzie is absolutely fine. She's being well looked after. They've done her blood pressures. I mean, how do you do a baby's blood pressure? I don't think I've ever seen a baby have their blood pressure taken. Apart from Harper, but she's not a baby. I don't know how they do that. Have they got like a teeny tiny one? I don't know. But Kev said they've done all of those checks. They've checked the blood sugars. They've checked her head. There's no squishiness around where the lump is on her head, which is a good thing. She's responsive. She's gurgling away. She's hungry. She's thirsty. There's nothing really to worry about, but they're going to have a doctor have a look at her anyway to make sure that there's definitely not anything going on with her. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it really light and really kind of high-pitched voice, you know how you do, to try and keep it like that, because all of the kids went into a massive panic and there was a lot of crying, a lot of, oh my God, Mum, what's happened? Is she okay? You know, so I'm trying to keep it really, really light, and just let them know that everything's all right. And it is all right. She's absolutely fine. Obviously, I film on my phone, so if I have to cut off for a second and then come back, it's because I'm on a phone call with Kevin. So yeah, everything's absolutely fine. I've been on the phone like 20 times already to keep checking on her, and she is absolutely fine. I think what's worse is that me and Kenzie are apart. Kenzie doesn't go anywhere without Mummy, and Mummy doesn't go out anywhere without Kenzie, you know, unless I'm just outside the front door or whatever. But yeah, so I feel like I've had a leg cut off at the minute. Right, okay, so while I'm doing this video, I'm gonna, the whole point of this video was to update you on what's going on with Harper, because we've had a lot. Like, when I say a lot, it's like our whole world is kind of imploded. And yeah, it's not what we expected, if I'm honest with you. None of it is anything that we expected. We were quite shocked. We knew something was up, but we were quite shocked with the outcome. So basically, she went up to Great Ormond Street. She was seen there. We had a lot of talks with family history and medications and the way her seizures were, and literally everything. We went through all of it, and then she had an enormous amount of blood taken. She had like 8 vials of blood taken, and they done another EEG, but a more thorough one, and they went off to check her MRI and everything, because she had an MRI that it was, I can't remember what they called it, but it was a very detailed MRI which can see the tiniest of things in there. So it's not your average MRI. So we waited for that. She sat there for a couple of hours, and then we had a doctor come down, but she was an epilepsy doctor, and she was quite high up one. Now, she'd seen the results of Harper's EEG. She'd been through the history, obviously, when they were out of the room and she came in. She asked a few more questions, and she said, well, we do have a diagnosis. I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. What are you going to do to fix my girl? And the first words that came out of her mouth were, unfortunately, the diagnosis that she has, there are no medications that can help her. This kind of epilepsy that she has, the medications don't respond to it. So we were like, okay, what do we do now? What is the diagnosis and how do we go forward? How do we help her? What do we do? So there was a lot. So the diagnosis was that Harper had myoclonic astatic epilepsy, which is Deuce syndrome, D-O-O-S-E, Deuce syndrome. The reason I spell it is I'm getting so used to just spelling it out because everybody spells it wrong. When I heard Deuce, I immediately spelled it D-E-U-C-E. Hello, chicken. You want to say hello? Yeah. But yeah, no, everybody spells it wrong. So did I. But basically, Deuce syndrome is a rare kind of epilepsy. Hi. Didn't say hello? Say hi. Woohoo.
Hi.
She's still got her hospital band on. She won't let me take it off. Will you? You like to go into that hospital. It was very good in that hospital. So yeah, the Deuce syndrome, from what we're being told so far, I'm still in the midst of doing loads of different kinds of research to find out what it is. It affects 1 to 2% of epileptic children, and I think there's an overall of about 50 million epileptic children in the world. So if you're going on the 1% marker, I think that's like 500,000 out of 50 million. So it's fairly rare. Basically, there's a lot of electrics going on in her brain. There's nothing, you know, her little transmitters aren't talking to each other properly, and there's a lot of kind of electrical storms as such, if I'm explaining that the right way. It usually hits around about 4 to 5, she said, and that's when they really start going. And she said the reason all of the medications aren't working is because they don't work. The medications she's got, so she's on 2 medications, but now she's had a 3rd one introduced, and what they're going to do is kind of try and localize the different seizures she's having. It may work to calm them down, but it may not. But to have a medication that stops the seizures, there's no such thing. So the next steps are that we are going to meet with a team of nutritionists, and they are going to put her on the ketogenic diet. Now, there's been a lot of success with the ketogenic diet. From what I've heard, it can calm her seizures down. She said because of the type of syndrome she's got, it won't make them go away completely. She'll still have them, but it will not be anywhere near as bad. But this ketogenic diet... Oh, we have a phone call. I'll be back in a sec. And we're back. Okay, update from Kevin. Mackenzie is absolutely fine. She's got a bit of a sore head, but she's absolutely fine. The doctors are really happy with the way she's responding. They've checked her over. They've done all their bits and pieces, and she's absolutely fine. So she's on her way home. Okay. I feel like when all the kids are in bed, I feel like I'm going to have like a mental moment. I might even go and sit in the cupboard under the stairs, Harry Potter style, and just kind of sit there for a moment. I might just do that. There's so much going on. Anyway, where was I? I was explaining to you about the ketogenic diet. So it's not going to get rid of the seizures altogether, but it's going to be amazingly good at putting them down to pretty much nothing. Hopefully. A worst case scenario, which we're hoping we never have to get to, but she said the ketogenic diet she will be on for 2 years. Yeah, so she'll be on that for 2 years, but worst case scenario, if that wasn't to work, then she would have an implant. I think it's called a vagus implant. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I think it attaches here, and then there's a wire that runs up into her head. It's a bit like a pacemaker. That kind of gives a bit of a jolt to stop the seizures firing off. But that is worst case scenario, and I'm really hoping that we're not going to get to that. The ketogenic diet, obviously, I mean, we're all familiar with what keto is, but this is going to be far different, and it has to be monitored really well. She'll have lots of blood tests to check things like cholesterol. She will have little prick finger tests, like blood testing, like when you're diabetic, to check blood sugar levels, which we're used to anyway because my mum's diabetic and Kevin is actually diabetic as well, so we're used to that. but it's just, hello Maddie. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. I am preparing myself for like the time that it's going to take for me to weigh things out and keep a check. I'm gonna get myself some little notebooks to keep in the kitchen so I can keep a check on everything. Gonna get myself some new weighing scales, and I've got a feeling that this is going to be a more of an expensive diet when it comes to food, so I'm going around trying to find options of meats and things like that. I did say in my grocery haul video that I'd found a butcher that goes around Essex. We have had from him before, and his meats are amazing, and he does like packs of really lean meats, things like that, so we're looking at him. I have made an order from him at the moment, so we're going to see how that goes, but he does do obviously packs of leaner meats, which would be better, I feel, when it comes to the meats, and we can get the good fats from things like avocados and things like that, you know. Yeah, I've got that meat coming from him, and it's quite a large pack actually. I think I paid, well, I haven't paid yet, it's cash on delivery, and I think it's £90 for like this ridiculous amount, so I'll show you that when that arrives. Another thing as well that we discussed is that she needs to have supplements, because obviously where she's having this high fat, low carb, kind of lower protein diet, she's going to have these supplements to make sure everything else is kept in the right place as well. But before we start the ketogenic diet, she's actually had these bloods taken to check that there's no like fat absorption problems and things like that, so they're just checking her for all these different things to make sure that she can actually have the ketogenic diet. So I'm fingers crossed that they come back good. And we are both having, me and Kevin are both having some genetic testing done as well. So Harper and Kevin have already had blood tests done. I've got to have mine done in a couple of days, and it's just basically checking all of our DNA and to see if there's any mutations in Harper's DNA or if there's any mutations in our DNA that we don't know about. You know, is there any disorders, syndromes, autism, anything in our DNA that we actually don't even know about. They're going to check it all, so it's going to be quite insightful as well. At the moment, Harper is absolutely amazing. She's having a lot of seizures every day, and when I say a lot of seizures, I mean, so they have told us she can have more than 100 in a day, every day, and they weren't joking. She has a massive range of different types of seizures. Some she's very aware of. It looks, one of them she does actually looks like stimming. You know, when you with autism you have a lot of stimming where they kind of wave their arms or they tap something or something like that. We thought that was stimming, but it's not. It's actually a seizure, and we weren't aware of that. So like I said, we're still learning. We've got a lot of things to learn. But yeah, she has a lot of different seizures throughout the day. She does get very sensitive to things like noise, and it's hard to decipher whether that's with the autism or with the epilepsy. She is very sensory. We have been told that this can affect her mind in ways of memory, and learning and things like that, which we're trying to come to terms with and try to figure out ways of helping her. There are forms of therapy that are there to help her, which obviously the hospital's trying to arrange for us as well. The memory thing is something that I noticed at the beginning actually, and I pulled it up with her epilepsy nurses at our hospital many times, and she kept telling me that it was normal. Now, she's an epilepsy nurse, but she wasn't completely clued up on the Deuce syndrome that Harper has, because it is rare. She obviously, it's not something you know, you don't walk into hospital and they think of a rare syndrome or disease or something like that. They don't. They look for the more obvious things, don't they? So they didn't spot it there. So when I was saying to her this is happening, she was like, oh no, this is normal. After a seizure this can happen. You know, there can be a little bit of speech delay, there can be a bit of memory loss after a seizure, you know. So she was going through obviously all the things that she knows and all the things that she's been taught, but then when we mentioned this in Great Ormond Street, they were like, yes, actually, this will affect her memory. Every seizure she has that effect on her mind. And we've started to notice it a little bit more. Things like she has forgotten how to count. Something as simple as counting to 5. She gets really confused. Shapes, colours, that kind of thing, she gets really confused with. And obviously she's 5. And at this point with, I don't want to say normal, because what is normal? You know, the kids are playing, can you hear them? Yeah, it's for a normal child, they would be able to do these things, whereas Harper has learnt them but then forgotten them. So it's all down to her having these seizures. It's not only that as well, she started to forget who family members were. Like my brother, we were showing her pictures and she's, who's that, mummy? And the look on her face, she was so confused and couldn't work out who was who. And it is heartbreaking to watch, I'm not going to lie, it is very heartbreaking. But I know that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel, and we are going to fix this somehow, and we're going to help her the best we can. I think that's one of the major impacts that it's having, is the memory part. Obviously she will always know who me and Kevin are because we're with her all day every day. But as for outside of our house, she does tend to struggle with that. She doesn't have much of a concept of danger, so we're constantly on the edge of our seats all the time. She will climb, she will, you know, if the girls are doing some cutting and sticking with their schoolwork, she will grab the scissors and try and run away, and we're all kind of like, oh, somebody's found me. Who found me? Yay, you found me. Yeah, so it's kind of a family effort. It has had a major impact on all of the kids. The kids are very like, oh my God, is Harper all right? And Harper will then be talking to them one minute and then she'll hit the floor the next, and they all kind of jump, and having to change the foods and diets in the house, and having to like baby proof the house all over again, and having all the appointments and things like that. Yeah, it's definitely impacting the whole family. But I will say the kids have been absolutely amazing about it. They really have, and they're really caring as well. They're always there, and they keep saying to me, Mommy, don't you worry, because we're going to look after her too. And that's lovely, because I know then for the rest of her life she's always going to have her sisters and her brothers behind her, which I love. But I think that's pretty much it for the update on Harper. Like I say, we're still learning as we're going, and there is a lot going on. There is so much chaos. Mum! She's had a loaf of bread on the work surface. She's over the moon. Yeah, life is chaotic. We've got so much information kind of floating around our heads, and like, okay, trying to make charts of what medication she has at what time of day, because it's kind of all over the place. And then once we're trying to get all of it kind of dealt with and sorted before we have to get her onto this diet, so we can really fully give our attention to this diet, because it is literally down to the gram, and it's going to be difficult, but we're going to do it because we're a team, and that's what we do. We always do it together, so you know. But I think that's it. Did I update everything? I think it is. Yo, Mummy, what did you spot this time? Milk? Oh, she's trying to convince me to give her milk. Would you like some milkies? Please, milk. Right, okay, I think that's my cue. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to say, because I feel like it's all choppy here than everywhere, because today is just been absolutely chaotic. Another one of them has found me. Oh, it's Bella. Hello, Bella. Hello. So yeah, I'm going to end this video here because it is just chaos. And let me tell you, when I say it's hot today, it is hot. It's like this horrible, sticky, muggy heat, isn't it? It's just awful. I think we're actually due a thunderstorm. They're playing. They're playing. What are they playing?
Jumping onto the
Onto the beanbag. They're jumping on the beanbag. As long as it doesn't burst. Oh my God, can you imagine? Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys are well. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're climbing one day at a time. That's what I said to the nurse, and that's what the nurse said to me. One step at a time, and everything will be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. No, just me. All right then. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye. Every little thing is gonna be all right. Woo. Everything. Okay. Bye.